Welcome students and parents. Well, thank you very much for attending today's session. This video I really want to finish the video, but it's too long. Or you can find it on the web. Okay. I hope it give you some ideas while you were waiting for the session to start. Some ideas about what this major is about. Okay. So welcome to the information session of Department of Industrial Engineering and Decision Analytics. My name is Jin Zhang, and I'm the department head. So today I'll use the next 30 minutes or so to give you guys some rough idea about this major. What is this major about? Our curriculum, some job perspective, career path, as well as some campus life exchange opportunities. Okay. So first of all, I want to start with the name of our department. So this is the issue that I run into many times. Imagine that you're having a family gathering, right? And you have an uncle who's a businessman, or at the pub you met somebody and say, hey, professor, what do you study? Right? And if I say, I'm a professor of mathematics, and then they say, oh, I got it, right? And that guy may have no idea about what mathematics is. But then I got it. And if you tell your uncle or your grandpa that you study chemical engineering, oh, I got it. Although they may not know a single chemical element. Okay, but I tell you that if you enroll in our program, and at any family gathering or in a pub, you say, hey, I study IE. And I guarantee you 99% of the time, the next question is, what is IE? Okay, well, yeah, well, English, it stands for Industrial Engineering. But I'll say that this name, so my point is that the name of IE and IEDA, because our major, our area is pretty new, it's only starting from right after World War II. So we don't have a very strong social consensus in a way that people have a stereotype about our major. Okay? So I want to tell you what is IEDA. All right. So in English, it stands for Industrial Engineering and Decision Analytics. The name has a very short history, about 85 years, starting during and right after World War II. And when people start to realize that logistics is more important than tactics in the battlefield. Okay. So the five-star general Alma Bradley once said that professional talk about the logistics, and the amateur talk about tactics in a war. All right. So about our major, I think I draw three circles. One is domain knowledge. If you work in the finance industry, domain knowledge is that you should know the basics of those financial instruments: stock, options, futures. Right? These are the domain knowledge. And then you need a little bit of hacking ability. I don't mean the hardcore programming skill that you write an operating system for Linux. I don't mean that level of hacking. But what I mean is that in modern society, very seldom that we can rely on our experience or our guess or our perception to make scientific or optimal decisions, right? So you need to have a little bit of hacking ability in a way that you need to be able to instruct your computer, which is very powerful now, to handle large amount of data, to perform some kind of analysis on computing. Okay, so there are different levels of programming, and then don't just think, okay, whenever I mention programming, is computer science, and then you're going to become a programmer for writing operating system or software. But the other level of programming is that you should be able to utilize a lot of tools. For example, Python, basic database, to retrieve, store, analyze data, and also to come up with some algorithm. Okay, and that comes to our third element in this area. It's called the math model. A lot of things that can be characterized by quantitative. Ultimately, no matter what business you are in, the ultimate goal is you want to make money, right? So a lot of things will be quantified numerically. So the key is to utilize your domain knowledge to build mathematical model that can capture the essence of how the business operates. And then you optimize, and by designing some algorithm. Okay, so in this way, probably, so in our area, we have a sort of BEng approach called data modeling, analysis, and computing. Okay, and I think no matter whether you're gonna work in the logistics industry, finance industry, consulting industry, these are the basic procedures that nobody would say, oh, I feel like the business is like this, I feel like the customer like this product or not, right? Everything boils down to data. And then based on data, you need to build some model that can capture how the dynamics works. And then you analyze the model, and ultimately you're going to come up with some algorithm to compute for the optimal decision. Okay? That's the general approach. So I hope through our program that we can raise you guys to a whole new level in the area of data modeling analysis. So let me show you some pictures which we took from newspaper or website. These are sort of the data pictures that you have seen, all right? But I just want to use the sort of content that you guys are very familiar with to illustrate, even for the supermarket, okay, this is what we call supply chain or dynamic pricing. The operations is pretty complicated. As a customer, you may walk into a supermarket and you may find, oh, this thing is on sale, right? Or that product is running out of stock, right? But what you don't know is that underneath the hood is actually people take a lot of data to study the user behavior, customer behavior, and come up with the optimum pricing and the stocking policy. What you should buy, what you should stock, okay? What do you expect? And then in this way, you optimize your profit. And this is life-defining strategy for those operators. Similarly, we have hospital, and unfortunately due to privacy issue, we cannot go to hospital take a picture with patients in the bed. Okay, hotel rooms, of course, supermarket, all this business that we are very familiar with. And I think in a modern society, we're not running just out of the intuition or out of the head of a single manager or a boss, right? We do everything very, very carefully. Okay, let me give you one example, okay? Assuming that we have 70 workers or 70 students, and there are 70 jobs. And because different kind of job require different kind of skill set, and different students may have different advantages in different dimensions. So how are we going to do an optimal matching? For those of you in high school, right, how many combinations do we have? 70 people assigned to 70 jobs. How many combinations do we have? It's an interview problem. It's 70 factorial, right? And how big is this number? Well, yes, in your DSE exam, okay, just 70 factorial, right? That's correct. But how big is this number? If we solve with brute force, which means that you enumerate all these combinations and find which one is the best, okay? How long do you think that it's going to take? You said, yeah, computer is fast, right? How long do you think it's going to take us to solve this? So suppose we have a computer that can run 1 million combinations per second, okay? And suppose we work on this problem starting from the start of the universe. And we're able to be finished by 2023. Well, the question is no, okay? How about we switch to a supercomputer that can run 1 billion computations per second? How about we fill the whole Earth with all, like we use all the powers, electricity that we generate on this planet for supercomputing? Actually, we need roughly 10 to the power 40 Earth, this number of Earth, for the supercomputer to compute, okay? So my point is that some of you may challenge me, hey, I'm just going to enumerate all of that, then I'll find the optimal one. Well, you can, but it's going to take a virtually infinite amount of time. However, with modern optimization algorithm and analysis, you can solve it in a second. This is something that you will learn in year 3 in our optimization courses. And we're going to show you how to write a code to solve this kind of problem. Okay, this is just one anecdote example to tell you a little bit about what you're gonna learn and what kind of problem you can solve going through our program. Okay, so our program is constructed in the following way. We have a very strong core. It includes a few really hardcore courses. For example, probability, stochastic analysis, optimization. Okay, it has certain level of mathematical depth. And then, starting from year 3 and 4, you're going to be able to select from 4 areas of courses, namely financial engineering, consulting service, logistic management, and engineering management. Okay? So let me just briefly explain what are these 4 sort of areas. By the way, the reason that we design our curriculum in this way is that we believe that in the next 4 years, you guys are going to be here, going through our program, right? And then you're going to go to society, go to the workforce. You're probably going to work for 30, 35 or more years. And the society will change. Okay? So I believe with the strong pull that we can equip you guys with really portable skill set, such that even in 10, 20 years, the society will change. Some of the methodologies that you learn will still be applicable to a lot of other, a lot of emergent areas. Okay, so one by one, financial engineering. Yeah, this is a basic screenshot of the trading, whatever the trading. So for this one is I think it's from Binance. Okay. So you see that when we say that the stock price is at a certain level, it's not it's not a price that you actually will get. Why? Because there's an issue called liquidity. There's an order book. So there's a whole. My point is that there's a whole lot of complexity. Let's say if today that you have $100 million US, and you tell me that you want to buy Apple stock all in, okay? And if I really throw this 100 million to the market, it will have a huge market impact, and it will change a lot of things. You may not get the price you want, right? So how exactly are we going to execute this order? This is one of the things that we can study. And of course, by executing it in a wise way, of course you get a better price and you make profit. So there are other aspects. It's not only about the financial trading, okay? I think Cathay Pacific as an airline is our pride. I think it's one of the top airlines in the world. But I tell you that you may think that airline is a business, as you have seen in the video that my friend Philip just introduced you about their operations, right? The millions of things that they need to worry every day. But there's one very important aspect: fuel price. Okay, so fuel price is probably one of the most dominating factor for airline to make profit or lose money. Okay, so what you can do, other than you run your operations smoothly and efficiently, what you can do is to hedge against the fluctuation. In particular, inverse direction of fluctuation. Okay, so that you can save a lot of money on fuel, because this is one of the major costs for airline. Okay, and in fact, there was a certain year that the Cathay lost a lot of money. It's not because they didn't run their operations smoothly, but rather, you can check out this news article. But rather, it's a sort of suboptimal hedging strategy that caused a few financial troubles. Okay. The second area, for lack of a name, we call it consulting services. The reason we call it consulting services is because talking about the career path, many of our students will be able to find a job in, for example, PwC, McKinsey, which are the companies that will do consulting service. Will go to a business, for example, go to a hotel chain, go to airline, and then investigate the kind of current problem and challenges they may have, and propose solutions. Okay. So like I already gave you one. I mean, previously I talked about airline. Another important thing about airline is price. Think about airline. They burn fuel, cost money, right? They have pilots, cost money, right? They prepare food, everything costs money. Where do they get money from? Ticket, right? But also some of you may feel that one ticket from Hong Kong to, let's say, Thailand Sometimes could be 5,000. Same airline, right? Economy. Sometimes could be 2,000, right? Okay, and I tell you that even for the same flight, for the people sitting in the same cabin, they may bought the ticket at a different price. Why? This is dynamic pricing. The intuition is very, very simple, okay? If the flight is tomorrow, and I still have empty seat, what do you think? You're very nervous, right? Because once the airline take off, empty seat is 0. So the intuition is that when it approaches the flight time, if you still have a lot of seat that are unsold, you probably want to lower down the price, right? But on the other side, even if the flight time is approaching, but I have seen huge demand from historical data, what you can do? You increase the price. Okay? So I just want to illustrate, it's not that simple. Say, hey, there's a boss, there's a manager, and then I pat on my head, say, hey, let's do this price. But you need to analyze the pattern, analyze the data, and come up with optimal solution. Similarly for hotel, it's sort of, it carries a very similar mechanism. But just to illustrate the complexity behind this kind of decision making, for hotels, it also depends on competitors, big environmental and geopolitical situation. So there are a lot. It's very, very complicated. I just want to say that. Okay. And some of our students are doing final year project by crawling data from various sources and try to come up with a solution and how they can recommend the most suitable hotel program. This is something that you will be able to learn. In a movie that you saw on Netflix, in fact, the Netflix started from for those little bit senior, like at my age, you should know that Netflix started as a DVD rental company. Okay, that was before the internet infrastructure becomes so powerful that you can instantly stream high definition video. Okay, and before that, a lot of you guys, if you guys grew up in the 90s, you should remember the time that we went to a shop to borrow DVD, right? And the Netflix had this idea, say, hey, how about this? We set up a website, and you sign up. So at any time, there are 3 DVDs at your home, and 3 DVDs from your home mailing back to our warehouse, and 3 DVDs from our warehouse mailing on the way mailing to your home. Brilliant idea, right? So they started with this. And even now today, they become a video content company, whatever. Still, the analysis of data is very, very important. Okay, many of you may know an American TV show called the Carter House, or the House of Cards, right? Starring Kevin Spacey. So how did they make this video? Because from big data, they figure out there's a high correlation for the audience who like Kevin Spacey and like David Finch, and then they just ask David Finch and Kevin Spacey to make such a show, and they become a blockbuster. All right. So data analysis is pretty important also in this aspect. A similar principle idea applies to Amazon or Taobao in mainland, right? So pricing, stocking, everything. This is one of the things that could be useful. Another one is this is real data from operating theater. Okay. What I want to show, I know it's complicated, but let me explain. Have you ever run into the situation that if you walk around the hospital, you find this operating theater is empty now, and people are waiting. And the operating theater usually doesn't open 24 hours. Okay, usually start from morning and should be closed at 6 for maintenance and there's OT for operating theater and all the workers together. Why? It's because of a scheduling problem. Okay. I highlighted a few places. For example, at this place, okay, the utilization is very low, which means that if at some point of the day you go there, you find it's empty. But on the other side, you find that this OT, or this operating theater, has to do overtime by 51 minutes, and on average there's a 79 minutes delay for scheduled surgery. What happened? This is because of the scheduling problem. Okay, it's not that the resource is not enough, but it's that we don't have an optimal way to schedule to fully utilize the resource. And this is also what we will be able to learn. Okay, yeah, I mean I shouldn't linger on this area too much. For example, emergency room waiting. This is a paper by our friends from Stanford University to demonstrate that this is rolling average. You can see that the actual is the solid black line, and the two dotted line, rolling average, and our Q-Lasso learning method. And visually you can see that this Q-Lasso learning method really predicts the waiting time very, very accurate. So that's okay. And engineering management, we have our Professor Richard So, also show up in the video. He does a lot of like ergonomics design for humans. That was his former PhD student. They started a company called HKUST, and inventing like a hearing machine, kind of a hearing device for senior people. Okay, that's their lab. And we also have Professor H.A. Janeja. He's using computing algorithm to design. I don't need to design the architectural structure, but to design the structure of the surface of the glasses. All right. So you can see that the application of what I call the DMAC, right? Analysis algorithm computing. It applies broadly to a wide range of industries. Okay. So that's engineering management. Logistic management, I think in Hong Kong, I don't need to emphasize too much about how important the logistic industry is. It's actually one of the four pillars of a local economy. And if you understand the logistics as driving a truck around delivering goods, I think this is not what we do. Okay, we don't train students to drive trucks. Okay, but logistics is all about the decision making. Okay. You guys who are not driving trucks, but instead you guys gonna analyze the data. Is it there? What data is it? Well, if you think about this logistic industry, it's actually a very, very complicated industry because it's the integration of several flows. It's the physical product flow because the physical product got delivered, right? And also there's an information flow, and there's a money flow, right? And also behind logistics, there's at least if we're talking about 100 years later, probably robots can help us do the delivery, right? But at this moment, all the deliveries at any stage, warehouse delivery, there got to be some human to operate at a certain level. So if you think about the logistics as integration of these four flows, it's super complicated, and then it really relies on the DMAC a framework of analysis to come up with optimal decision. Just to give you a simple comparison, these days I think in Asia we're way more advanced than Europe and America. Okay, if you buy something on Amazon.com in the U.S., it's usually going to take you 3 to 5 days, but in mainland, if you buy something in the morning and then it will be at your doorstep in the evening, right? So this is all this kind of efficient logistic network, all built on smart algorithm behind that. Okay, so why do you want to study at IEDA? First of all, we have a cutting-edge program. In fact, this program was revamped. It's not like, oh, we've been running this program for 20 years. Our department has been 30 years. In fact, this is our 30-year celebration logo. But in 2018, we completely revamped our program to, as today, as I just introduced you. So our aim is to have a strong core so that you have a portable skill set, no matter how the society will change. And also we have 4 up-to-date application domains. So that, upon the time that you graduate, I hope you guys will already at a certain level of advantage compared to other students. And by the way, if you look at U.S. news and other statistics, IE students usually get a very, very high starting salary. Okay, so this is a good area to study, especially in the knowledge economy in the data area. So we have 2 programs that I showed you. We have bachelor program in industrial engineering and engineering management, IEEM.
And we also have Bachelor of Engineering in Decision Analytics. Okay, this program is new, and we already get accredited by Hong Kong IE, and of course we're going to get accredited by other local agencies as well. So talking about the career path, okay, these are the statistics that 2022 that we got from Career Center. You can see that the majority of our students, 82%, will be employed right after graduation, and some of them will pursue further study, which I will elaborate later. Okay, we have a sort of a collaboration with Columbia University, so that our transcript carries a very credible weight when Columbia University decides to admit you in their master program. So the two programs, they don't differ a lot. Okay, so our students go to business management, engineering, IT, banking, and finance. Okay, many of our alumni actually doing extremely well in one of the top investment institutes in Central. Okay, yeah, so banking, finance. Here I make a list of names, and this list of names are the places that in the past 10 years our graduates go. Okay, they include Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, HSBC for the banking and the finance. For global manufacturers, for IT, we have students go to IBM, Cisco. Global logistics, Carrier Logistics, DHL, Maersk. Yeah, we also have students go to Tongas and PR, as you have seen in the video. In fact, Perry at Tongas has been early promoted. Despite he's very young, he is already a senior manager there. Yeah, here are a few students, Quentin and Alan. Alan graduated in recently, and I'm pretty close to him this guy. Actually, I'm gonna go to Central. I sent him a message, say, can we get a drink? By the way, I think he had a wonderful career path. First of all, joining a startup company, and then went to Morgan Stanley, and then moved on to Citibank. Yeah, I think he's been contacted by headhunter. He might join a Australia hedge fund. Okay, that's yeah, we have more. McKinsey and Clifford, PwC. Just give you some examples. Of course, we have students who not a lot of students who pursue master study in Columbia University. Yeah. Perry, yeah, that's the Perry I mentioned, and he's now a senior manager in Tongas. Okay, so I want to talk about in particular. Of course, I think the students who graduate from our program really build a solid foundation that prepares you guys for further study. But due to our close connection with Columbia University, actually every year they ask us to recommend the number of students. And then if you achieve pretty good grades in our transcript, then I think there shouldn't be any problem for the mission, okay? And they have a few master programs, the 5 master programs, which I personally I think they're wonderful programs, and they can really give you some advantage. Okay, so last few slides. This is our exchange partners. We do have a lot of we have a rich set of exchange program with pretty much all the top universities in the world, and that can certainly expand your scope during undergraduate study. And internship program. In fact, a lot of our students, because the way that we design our program, can find internship. And this is what I highly recommend, no matter which university, which major you're going to go. Just to high school students here and parents here, that 4 years of undergraduate study. How many summers do we have? 3 summers, right? Okay, that 3 summer will be the deciding factor that what kind of job you will find. It's very important. Start to look for internship year 1 this time. Okay. Well, I understand in year 1 you don't have a whole lot of things to write on your resume, right? But just try. Okay. Don't waste your summer, especially in Hong Kong. The summer, the school summer break is extremely long. Okay. All right. So our students just went to a range of wonderful places for internship, and we also have mentorship program. There were two levels of mentorship I want to mention. One is by industry leaders, okay, senior people, top executive from company. We invite them to come to campus to have very casual dining or drinking with our students to pass their experience. Another level of mentorship program is that we ask current students, senior students who find a good internship, or we find our recent graduates who find a good job to come to talk to our students. So from the day one, you get into our program. The past student, the recent graduate, will help you set up a goal and will pass their experience as to how to achieve the goal. Okay, so day one. Well, yeah, of course, our students will write a range of awards in competition. This is also part of university life. So I do encourage, if you ever have a chance, try to actively participate in all kinds of student activities, competitions. This is the last slide, and then you can scan the QR code. We do have a few things that we usually post on social media. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and these are the email and contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to send us a message, and we'll reply you very promptly. Okay? With that, I'll conclude my talk. Thank you very much. So in the next maybe 10 minutes or so, I'll stay here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, okay? Yeah, don't be shy. I mean, any questions? Yes.
Yes. This major, how long has you can in our university?
Oh, okay. So if you're talking about the major, right? The major. So first of all, our department has been 30 years. So the major IEDM has been 30 years. The new major IEDA we just established in 2018. And in fact, last year we had our first cohort of graduates, and they were doing very, very well. Okay. Yes, yes.
One more question.
Oh, I like questions. This is how we interact. Yes.
Simply speaking, what's the difference? This major is big data analysis.
Very good, very good. Very good question. So I think you guys might have heard of the BDT, Big Data Technology Program, that is jointly hosted by Department of Mathematics and the Computer Science Department, right? Yes, I think, first of all great program. In fact, the program director is my close friend, okay? We have different emphasis because big data has a rich elements in data itself, okay? But however, what I believe that our program is that data is one of the elements that we're going to do, but we focus more on the business logic and models. Yeah, that's probably the I mean, but which one, as to like which one you're going to select, I think, well, of course, you're going to consider about the career path, right? But I think this world is rich enough. Like even if you say, hey, I want to focus on writing system software, right? You can have a bright future, right? So I think this is one consideration about the career path. Another consideration is your own interest. If you're more interested in this consulting, like business and solving like problem, and then you can just choose us. But if you say, hey, I want to be a data guru, I want to understand data, then you start to get data. I think, yeah, there's two considerations for you to choose. Yeah. Yeah, just feel free to throw any questions. Yeah? Yeah, that's the one I mentioned. Yeah. So, yeah, just give you a little bit introduction about that. That called data science and the ESD, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. That's a joint program by that department and computer science department. And I also think that's pretty nice, pretty wonderful program. And by the way, since this is offered partially by the math department, you actually go a little bit deeper into the mathematics. which in my view is a good thing, okay? But again, as I said, it depends on your own personal interest, your career goal, and then. All right, so so we can conclude the session. Okay, you guys feel free to stay over and ask anything. Okay, so thank you very much for coming. Okay.